So my name is Hjörtur Scheving and I come from Iceland, but I've been living in Norway since 2010, enjoying your oil money. Thank you so much. I'm educated as a software developer, but I haven't programmed for many years. So I work as a UX designer in the design lab with Cyber. And this talk is called, you can read properly, 12 Rules for Consultant Life and Your Mental Health. That's, we all need it. So this talk is based on a book that this guy wrote. He wrote a book called 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos. His name is Jordan Peterson, and anyone here has read this book? Well, does anybody know him at least? Yeah, okay. He is, to say the least, he's very controversial. He is, many that think of him as right-winged type of guy, and you know, show you here a description of him. But he's a clever guy, and as I said, he's Canadian. He's a clinical psychologist and professor of psychology at the University of Toronto. And it has been said about him that he is the most influential public intellectual in the Western world right now. I'm not quite sure about that, but okay. Another one I like here by Nathan Robinson from Current Affairs. And he sums it up quite nicely, because at least when I read his stuff is that you can interpret what he writes any which way that fits you. So, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, I don't agree with everything that he has to say, but he's a clever guy, and I like clever guys, and I like people that have opinion, and I like people that, you know, stand for what they believe in. But, so take everything that he says with a, you know, critical mind. Don't swallow it as the holy truth. So, a little bit of backstory. I have dealt with depression for most of my life. I had some episodes where I gone into deep depression and had to get help. So mental health is quite important to me. It's important for me to know what to look out for, what to, you know, see the signs that are going on, and how I can make my life easier so that I can manage my depression better. So, so this talk is a little bit about that, how to take care of yourself in a job as a consultant, because we all know that the consultant job it can be quite brutal. It can be challenging at times. There's a lot of pressures. We have deadlines, short deadlines. We get a lot of rejections. We are applying for jobs all the time, you know. And we are constantly being evaluated. So I've learned over the years a little bit how to take care of myself, but it's always good to be reminded of things. So, but let's just jump straight into those rules that he has. So his first rule here, hierarchies, they are very common. They, in our society, they're everywhere around us. A lot of you might think that hierarchies are not so much here in Scandinavia, but of course they are. You know, we have sports where you have winners and losers. We have bosses. We have managers. We have us worker bees. You know, and it's everywhere around us, even in the animal kingdom. Peterson takes a sample of lobsters. Lobsters, they fight all the time. They are fighting for the best place for their shelter, and that's their way of setting up that hierarchy amongst them. And the one who wins that fight. They've seen that his serotonin levels go up. And he stands more upright, and he's more agile, and gets the confidence. But the loser, he gets, all crawled up and tense. So, and this also affects future interactions with lobsters. Because when a when he meets one of these winner lobsters, he will just run away almost straight away. He won't even try to fight again sometimes. So they know where they sit in the hierarchy. And so lost my train of thought there. That's why. So this is the same for us in many ways. When we meet somebody, we judge them. They judge us. They try to fit you into, or we try to fit them into our hierarchy. And, so if somebody is all bent, and has bad postures, is wearing dirty clothes or bad hygiene, you are judged straight away, that's for sure. And we all know that, of course. But that has a lot to do with our confidence also, because that affects us. If we are not taking good care of ourselves, then how can our confidence and self-esteem be, strong? So, so his advice is that you should stand up straight, have your shoulders back, and dress nicely. You don't have to put on a tie or a bow tie like I do often, but you have to, be clean and take good care of yourself, because you need to take good care of yourself to get your confidence up, to get that boost, and to get that authority that you need with your clients. You need the clients or the customers to listen to you. You need to establish that you are an authority in the field that you are representing. So this all hangs together. So stand up straight and walk with pride. So if we go then to rule number 2, I need to drink a little bit here. So there are some studies made that if a doctor prescribes medicine to a group of sick people, 1/3 of the people, they won't even pick up the medicine. 1/3 will pick them up, but won't take them correctly. So it's only 1/3 of them that will do as the doctor said, and that's amazing. So, but how many here have a pet? Yeah. And I guess if your pet gets sick, you take them to the vet gives them some medicine, you go home and you will make sure that you follow those advices that the doctor gave you to the letter. You will make sure that pet will be up and running again straight away. And why is that? Why do we take better care of our pets, our kids, our loved ones than we do ourselves? Why are we so unimportant that we don't, take good care of ourselves? And this has a lot, according to Peterson, a lot to do with the tendency in us humans to have this self-contempt. There are things that we say to ourselves that you would never ever say to the one who's sitting next to you or to anyone. I guess a lot of you, I have at least, screwed up at work. I've done mistakes. Hard to believe, but it happens. But what's the first thing that pops into my mind when that happens? Oh, you're stupid, you don't deserve being, in this job. You're not qualified. It's straight away I would bombard myself with things that I would never ever say to any one of my colleagues or anyone around me. So we are really hard on ourselves. So that's the key is to treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. And there we go. So, and that's the case. We have to take care of ourselves. And if you go to rule number 3. Why did I screw up all my notes? That's a good question. You see, a mistake, then now it's popping up in here in my head again. So here we go. Yeah. You're not going anywhere, are you? Just to make sure that these are... Yeah. So rule number 3. If you take an underachiever, and yeah, that's probably a good word, and we put him in a group of high-performance employees, you would think that maybe some of the good habits would rub off from those good employees over to this trouble employee, I don't know. But that's not the case usually. Studies have shown that more often it happens that the bad habits will rub off on the others, and the overall performance will go down. And that's the thing here with Peterson, what he's saying. Then like pick your friends carefully. Be picky who you are associating with in many ways. Don't be amongst people that drag you down. And this happens. It happens in work and also in our personal life. So this screws it up here completely. Here, this one. So yeah. So surround yourself with people that want the best for you and you want the best for. But how do you know that you have good friends, good colleagues? Well, good friends, good colleagues, they are not going to agree with everything that you have to say. So those that are standing up to you, who are challenging you, those are the ones that you want to hang around with. Because in order to grow, we need to have somebody to put us in our place once in a while, And in some ways, so you shouldn't be, in some project, for example, you will have a project where a new team member comes in, he is complaining about everything, the coffee is bad, the manager is bad, we only have blue pens, what is this, But don't get sucked into it. You just stick with the people that want the best for you. Don't get caught up into this negativity, because that's not gonna do anything for you. So number 4. This one here. This one is probably the most important rule, at least for myself, First of all, it's important to be critical of yourself. If we are not critical of ourselves, then we have nothing to strive for, we have no motivation to better ourselves, and we just become aimless and lost. So that's not the problem. But the problem is when we start comparing ourselves to other people. And I do this all the time. Because I told you I've only been in cyber now for 2 months, and I don't have a project to work on. So I'm spending my time fixing my CV and things like that, sending out offers or sending out my CVs left and right. So I get pitched in on a lot of projects, and I've gotten a lot of no's. And I've gotten on some interviews, still have gotten some no's. And it's tough. This consultant business can be really brutal sometimes. But as I get no, I know that there are people out there that are getting yes. Somebody got the job, right? So immediately I start thinking, are they better than me? What do they have that I don't? So, but that's crazy, because you can't really compare yourself to other people like that. We have no idea what they have gone through to get that job. We have no idea what they have experienced. We have no idea about their expertise or anything about the situation. So there is this danger of comparing yourself always to somebody else, because there's always somebody out there that is smarter than you, who knows more than you, who has accomplished more than you, no matter what. So if I would get a yes on a project tomorrow, would that solve everything? No. Again, because there is somebody else who has a better project than me, There's somebody who has, has achieved more than me. So the important thing to do is to focus on comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone is today, who someone else is today. So that's the important thing. So my focus has been trying to better myself. Why I didn't get those jobs, I don't know. The only thing that I can do is to look at myself yesterday and see, okay, what skill am I missing? So I try to better myself. I try to work on my, learn new skill, work on my empathy, be kinder, whatever. Anything so that I incrementally become a better person and a better consultant. And this, of course, this is a thing that I've struggled with all my life, and it's a continuous struggle. But it's really important to keep in your mind, because otherwise you'll go a little nuts, So number 5. Yeah, we've all been there. I have a 20-year-old son who, yeah, But so Peterson says that it's a parent's duty to raise a responsible and kind kid. And I wish it was Espen's duty to raise me also and make me that. But in psychology these days, that they say that we are born, or they believe that we are born aggressively with aggressive instincts. So that we need to learn how to become kind. We need to learn how to be civilized adults. I mean, if you think about, some of you might disagree, but if you think about the kids' playground, for example, how vicious are kids, If you think about a 2-year-old, he's brutal. He will bite you. He will scratch you. He will, kick you. He will steal somebody else's toy. It's criminal, So it's amazing. So we need to learn how to behave, how to be kind, and that's the responsibility of the parent. This over here. So keep this in mind, that do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Or we can paraphrase this to don't let your teammates do anything that makes you dislike them. So it's important here because Peterson gives us 3 strategies how to deal with these kids that are doing things that we don't like. And those 3 strategies are: you limit the rules, keep it simple, use minimum necessary force to enforce those rules, and come in pairs. And this is something that, we have in a project that actually, when the parents fail, then sometimes those kids end up in the project that we are on. You know the type, that knows everything, that wants everything their way. And this is the way to deal with it, is to put clear boundaries to that person. Make sure that, that you use, as he says, use minimum necessary force. It can be as simple as like for example, if you have data or if you have teammates to help you to validate your point of view, that's one thing that can help in controlling these situations. And that's, so don't let them do stuff that will make you just dislike them, because you will just dislike them more and more and more. So, and if you are one of those kids, then you need to grow up. But number 6, this one we all have heard before. I think your mama told you this. So, let's face it that life sometimes sucks. It can be brutal, it can be horrible sometimes. But so what? Get over it. And it happens. We are on bad projects. You have some, projects that are going to hell. You have horrible clients, or you have teammates that you can't stand. But nothing is our fault, right? It's always somebody else. You need to snap out of it. Because what comes out of this negativity? Anything good? No. There's no benefit. You will just spiral into more resentfulness around the work, around the project, around anything, your teammates or whatever. So the first of all that you can do, and the first that you should, and the only thing really that you should be focusing on, is to correct yourself. What can you do to make yourself better or to make the situation better? So the advice from Peterson is that we should stop doing anything that we know to be wrong and start doing and saying only that makes us proud. Only those things that make us proud. You should only do things that are meaningful. You should only do things that are good. So before you start criticizing everyone else around you, make sure you have cleaned out your own house. So here we come back to the meaningful part. In rule number 7. Peterson says that sacrifice can be meaningful act, and we should seek meaning over immediate pleasure. You've probably heard of the story about the monkey and the cookie jar. The monkey sees a cookie, not me, but a monkey. He takes the cookie, he sees, the opening of the jar is big enough to put his hand in. He grabs the cookie, tries to pull his hand out, can't. The opening isn't big enough. What to do? Cookie? So he's stuck. And this is typical, I think, with us humans. We tend to hang on to things. I eat busloads of candy, and then I eat a lot of candy, and I know I shouldn't. It doesn't do me any good. But am I letting it go? No. And this is the same thing with those that are, drinking problems, drugs, or whatever. We don't let go. We hang on everything. And that's because we are programmed in a way that we always take the easy way out. Time almost finished here. 5 minutes left. So we take the easy way out, and we are programmed in that way that we always take the least resistant way. And we should stop that. We need to start thinking about what's gonna help you forward. What will make you a better consultant, better for your clients, better for yourself. So seek what is meaningful, not what is expedient, not something that is just like a quick fix for you. In number 8, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. This one is hard, because most of us lie all the time. We want to win arguments, we want to be right, and we want to, gain some prestige or impress people, or we simply want to get whatever we want, so we will say anything. Come on. So truth can be harsh, and we may not always know what the truth is really. However, usually it's quite easy for us to know what is a lie and if we are lying. So the rule that he says here is, don't, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Because if you don't know the truth, then at least don't lie. Say it then, And we all get into this situation where the easiest way out is to make up something to get out of trouble. But it's not a good strategy, of course, for the long run. So, and telling the truth forces us to have the necessary and these uncomfortable discussions that we need to have. And that's with the clients, that's with our colleagues and everything. So tell the truth. Number 9, as I mentioned, communication is of course very, very important for us as consultants. But one of the pitfalls that we fall into is that we don't listen to the other people that are, or the other person that is talking. We are too busy, coming up with a good comeback, or we are too busy finding a way how we're going to win this argument. So we are not listening, and so we are missing out on this good dialogue that is needed. And that's what, conversation should be looked upon as an opportunity to learn, opportunity to grow, not a competition. And even, Peterson says that you should even listen to your enemies, because your enemies will for sure tell you things that your friends are never going to tell you. So listen, make sure you listen to people, because have that as a guide that the one that you're talking to, he might know more than you. 10, be precise in your speech. You might think that this goes without saying, but it's amazing how imprecise we can be sometimes. You go to the doctor and, my leg is hurting, What about saying, it's my right leg that is hurting? Or if you go like further, it's my knee that is hurting when I walk up the stairs, it happened after I jumped off the rock. Or be precise. That's the only way that we can communicate, because we people, we don't like this uncertainty. We need to know we need to put words to things. And this is really, really important with clients, with the project that you're on. You need to be clear on what you can do, what you can't do. You have to manage the expectations of the client and be precise in the way that you talk. And don't bother children when they're skateboarding. So this is that we need to be able to explore. We need to be able to live a little on the edge and do things that are dangerous. That's the only way that we will progress. That's the only way we learn. So as consultants, we need to be able to try new things. We need to be able to try to fail, to hurt ourselves a little bit, because otherwise we won't be able to tackle the challenges that are ahead. So experiment, try new things, and go for it. And number 12, that's my favorite. When you read Peterson's books, it's very dark often, Life sucks and everything is bad and all that. But then he comes to this one, and this one is just here for us to keep in mind that enjoy the little thing. You see a cat, pet him, enjoy the moment. You have a load of things maybe going wrong in your project, but enjoy that task that you finished. Enjoy the little code snippet you wrote. And how bad can it be? As I said, we have huge amount of candy at our offices on Fridays. It's not bad. So 12 simple rules, very simple, right? It's easier said than done, of course, but it's important to have these, put words to things and keep these in mind, because we need that to stay sane, really. At least we try. Thank you so much.